"Sir, can I clean your mansion, just for a plate of food?" The girl's voice was trembling, but her eyes held something that made the billionaire freeze mid-step. She was thin, drenched from the pouring rain, barefooted, yet there was something hauntingly familiar in her face. That was the moment everything changed. Act 1. The Girl in the Arianet. Was a stormy evening when Elijah Carrington, CEO of the global tech empire Novalink, returned to his estate after another relentless board meeting. At only 38, Elijah had everything: money, power, fame, but behind the perfect suits and billion-dollar contracts was a heart long buried under grief. His chauffeur Michael had just opened the mansion gate when Elijah spotted her, standing near the driveway, frail, shivering, no older than 20, clutching a ragged old backpack and looking lost in the world. She didn't beg, she didn't cry, she just waited until Elijah stepped out of the car, and then she spoke. "Can I clean your mansion for a plate of food?" Michael started to shoo her away, but Elijah raised his hand. He hadn't heard a voice like hers in years, so humble, so cracked by life, yet filled with something powerful. He took a long look at her face, at the soaked strands of hair stuck to her cheek, the way her hands trembled from cold and hunger. He whispered under his breath, "It can't be... Act 2. A stranger under the chandelier. Elijah led her inside the mansion, a place so grand it looked like it belonged in a royal palace. The marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and glass walls were a sharp contrast to her muddy feet and torn jacket. She hesitated at the door. "I don't want to dirty anything." Elijah offered her a towel and said gently, "You can eat first, we'll talk later." In the kitchen, she devoured the warm soup and bread like she hadn't eaten in days. Elijah quietly watched from the corner, his mind racing. She reminded him of someone from long ago. Her eyes, her voice, even her mannerisms. He asked for her name. "Lena," she said. "Lena Matthews." Elijah froze again. That name, that last name. His past came rushing back 15 years ago. A girl he once loved. A tragedy. A baby that disappeared with her mother. And now, this. Act 3. The ghost of yesterday or the why. That night, Lena slept in the guest wing. Elijah didn't sleep at all. Instead, he sat in his study staring at an old photograph, a woman holding a newborn in her arms. He had tried to find them years ago, but they had vanished without a trace. He remembered her mother, Lisa Matthews. She had left him when he was too focused on building Novalink, thinking he didn't care. But he had cared, deeply. He just didn't know how to show it back then. Now this girl, Lena, she could be the next morning. Elijah asked Lena where she came from. Her story poured out like rain on dry earth. She had grown up in foster homes, never knowing her father. Her mother, Alyssa, had died of cancer when Lena was only 10. She had held on to her mother's journals, clinging to pieces of her story, and in one of those entries, there was a name, Elijah Carrington. Lena said, cautiously watching his face, "My mom wrote that name over and over. I think she loved him, and she hated him too." Elijah's throat tightened. She said he was a good man, just broken. Act 4. Truth, tears, and tests. A DNA test confirmed it. Lena Matthews was his daughter, but she didn't care about his money. She had come looking for answers. For family. Elijah had spent years surrounded by board members, journalists, assistants, people who respected him but didn't know him. And now, the one person who might. She had arrived on foot, hungry, alone, still kind enough to offer to clean his mansion for a plate of food. The media found out soon after, and the headlines went wild. Billionaire CEO reunites with long-lost daughter found on his doorstep. But behind the headlines was a man trying to learn how to be a father, and a girl trying to understand how to accept love from a stranger she shared blood with. There were challenges. Lena had trauma. She flinched at loud voices. She apologized. Too often, she didn't know how to sleep on soft beds or wear expensive clothes. Elijah was patient. He bought books on trauma, hired a therapist, even cancelled meetings just to be present at her sessions. They cooked together, watched old home videos, visited her mother's grave, and slowly, the walls began to crumble. At 5, healing PAGOGHR. Lena didn't want to live in a mansion forever. She wanted to go to college, study social work, and help girls like her. Elijah supported her every step of the way, not with just money, but by showing up. He sat front row at her night classes. He helped her with essays. He cried when she gave her first speech on surviving without a safety net. And the mansion, It changed too. Once cold and quiet, it now echoed with music, laughter, warmth. Lena filled it with rescued animals, books, photos. Elijah even turned one wing into a non-profit space, the Lena Foundation, dedicated to supporting homeless teens and foster children. Epilogue, full CIRCLA. 3 years later, Lena walked onto a TEDx stage. The room fell silent as she stood there, confident, graceful. She began, 3 years ago, I knocked on a mansion door, starving. I asked for food in exchange for cleaning floors. But what I received was something I never expected. A second chance, a father's love, a home. And today, I'm here to tell you, even the most broken beginnings can lead to the most beautiful stories. In the front row, Elijah wiped a tear from his eye. The audience rose to its feet in thunderous applause, because sometimes all it takes is one moment of courage, one act of kindness, and one door that opens when the world has closed every other.